Hello, and on the gaming table today, we're taking a look at general combat for Strength and Honor. Now, what we're doing here is looking at combat in general. Combat is a little bit involved with a few different forms. So first we'll take a brief look at it in general, and then we'll go into the specifics of a couple of types of combat, and we'll give some examples as well. Now, here we're going to focus on the process. We're not going to be looking at all the tables and so on. If you want to see those, you can take a look at maybe the quick reference sheet or some of the other resources that are in the Facebook group or in the other resources that I put online in an earlier video. Combat is central to Strength and Honor, and the reason for that is not just because it's a war game, but also because combat is primarily how setback and disaster cards are given out to you or your opponent, hopefully your opponent. And then setback and disaster cards are the way that you win or lose the game by calling Homunculus Est and someone having too many of these cards. That's how you win. Each unit has a combat rating. So for example, a Roman legion has a combat rating of 4, and a warband has a combat rating of 3 usually. Some, like archers, have a close combat rating as well as a ranged combat rating. So here, archers are 2 in close combat, 3 in ranged, and they also have a range of 3. They can shoot 3 squares away. Now, to engage in combat, you're going to make an activation. Either you're going to charge, which is move and then do some combat. You're already in contact, so you do melee combat, or you're going to be shooting. And all combat is one stand versus one stand. What you do is compare the attacker and defender combat ratings, and there are some modifiers for things like support or situational modifiers like that. You look at the ratings and find out if they're equal or not equal. If they're equal, then the active player, the one who initiated the activation for the combat, is going to roll 1d6. But if the rating is higher, then the active player is going to roll 2d6, and whoever has the higher rating will choose. That could be the attacker or the defender. Now, if the rating is twice as high or more, let's say 6 versus 3 for combat rating, then you're going to roll 3d6 and the higher rating will choose the result. So the more dice that are being rolled, the better the chance you have of getting the result that you want. Now, once the attacker or the active player has rolled their attack dice, the defender is going to roll a single d6 defense die. And if that defense die roll equals whatever was chosen or rolled by the attacker, then that attack is completely negated for no effect. And that doesn't matter if the attack was going to cause a result that's beneficial to the defender or not. You're always going to roll this defense die, and if it's equal, it's always going to cancel out whatever the attacker was going to do. Once the attack has worked, it hasn't been negated by the defender, whatever was rolled is going to be looked up on the results table to see the result of the combat. And generally speaking, higher is better. The 3 different types of results you can have are no effect, a pushback, or a pushback and a discipline check. These are getting progressively worse as you go through. So in a pushback, you roll on a table to see how far you get driven back, and you withdraw that certain distance. Generally speaking, you're also going to take a setback card here. So being pushed back gives you a setback. It's bad, but it's not too bad. With a discipline test, you're going to check for a unit. Every unit has a rating, and you're going to check against that rating to see if they pass their discipline test. If they fail, then that can give a few different results. Again, rolling on a table, it could be a disorder, it could make the unit retire, or it could make it rout. Those are progressively getting worse. And once again, you're going to take setback or even disaster cards, depending on how bad this is. So in summary, that's how combat works overall. First, the active player activates the unit and engages in combat. Then you compare the modified ratings and you roll the appropriate number of attack dice depending on the ratings. Whoever has the higher rating will choose, and then the defender will roll the defense die to negate the attack. Once the attack has gone through and it hasn't been negated, then you're going to apply the combat results, including taking any setback or disaster cards that occur. Now, as mentioned, this is the very general procedure for combat without going into all the details for melee or shooting. We'll take a look at those with some examples in a future video. But for today, that will be enough for now. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again real soon.